Welcome to Biztech's C-Suite Conversation Show. Hi, I'm Brian Fernandez, and our guest today is Hoan Nguyen. He's the Senior Executive Vice President, COO, and CFO of FPT Software. FPT Software is a globally recognized leader in technology and IT services based out of Vietnam. As a subsidiary of FPT Corporation, one of Vietnam's largest conglomerates, FPT Software operates across the Asia-Pacific region, Europe, and the Americas. And it serves a diverse array of industries, including banking, telecommunications, healthcare, and manufacturing. Now, to give us insights into the company and some key industry trends, we welcome Hoan to the show. Hoan, great to have you on.
Hi, Brian. My pleasure to be here.
Now, for a start, can you give us an overview of FPT Software and your associated companies?
Actually, FPT Software, we are part of a bigger group named FPT. FPT Group covers telecommunication, education, retail business, and technology. So we are one of the four key pillars of FPT conglomerate. And actually, FPT Group was founded 35 years ago. And for FPT Software, we founded later in 1999. So actually, this year is going to be 25th year anniversary of FPT Software. And at FPT Software, we are focusing on international market, US, Americas, Europe, Asia Pacific, Japan, and yes, of course, ASEAN market.
Now, give us a sense of your product and services offering.
We are the largest within technology group of FPT. Last year, we had achieved $1 billion milestone after 24 years. And this year, we're going to target $1.3 billion. So our key market is Japan. It's about slightly more than 35% of our revenue, of sales, and close to 25% from Americas, about 10% from Europe, and the rest from Asia Pacific, so also around 20%. And our industries, the domain industry of our services are automotive, banking, finance, BFSI, healthcare, and those are our insurance, and those are our recent focus and where we grow fastest. Besides, in terms of technology, we are focusing on AI and data. We've been investing a lot in the last 3 years to building up the competencies in those areas.
Now, the fact that Japan is your largest market really sort of was an eye-opener. Tell us what competitive advantage that you have that you were able to get such a big chunk of your revenue from Japan.
I think there's two key factors. Firstly, we are from Asia, and we're sharing a lot of similarity in terms of business culture, of geographical closeness between the two countries. And secondly, it's about cost competitiveness when you're comparing our services quality and price comparing to our competitors. And this one more thing is very important. It's about agility and responsiveness of FPT Software when we're receiving requests from our partners, our customers from Japan. And last but not least, it's about our Japanese competencies. We're building up a very good foundation in Japan. We have our language school for our software engineers in Japan. we train thousands, 10,000 engineers speaking Japanese, Vietnamese engineers speaking Japanese. We also hiring a lot of Japanese employees, engineers, consultants in Japan. And today we have around 3,500 employees based in Japan. And that's very solid foundation for our business development in Japan.
So what sort of overall from a company, what are your key differentiators and what are your product offerings like to cater for all these various markets?
Sure. For Japan, we are focusing on very much on manufacturing and automotive. We've been partnering and we've been building up our relationship with many, you can name it, many Japanese manufacturers, car makers. And secondly, we have different working models with Japanese and Koreans partners like joint ventures. And in with recent development, we did some acquisition in Asia Pacific and did one last year in Japan.
And in terms of your software, you said you have various operating models. So is this in some models body shopping? In some models it is basically software development. In some models, then obviously you may have some products that you actually do. What sort of products? Because products obviously you have higher margins. What sort of product offerings do you have and what are your key competitive advantages?
So actually, in the past, we to be very honest, our model was based on T&M and staff augmentation. We offers our Vietnamese engineers and efforts to our partners in Japan, and gradually we building up our own solution and product. You can essentially in the areas of automotive and the manufacturing, we have our product named MAS, it's AutoSAR platform for automotive industry.
Okay.
And, besides, we building up our ODC models for our partners, and also besides staff augmentation model, we more and more switch to fixed price project and outcome-based model, and it's really helped to improve our productivity working with our partners in Japan.
Now it brings to FPT's growth mirrors that of Vietnam as a growth story in Southeast Asia over the last 2 decades, and particularly in the last 10 years. And that really, again, you're 25 years this year, so really mirrors that whole growth. Today, as you said, you're moving up the value chain. One of the things that you are doing, obviously, is innovating more. You are also talking about AI, and I remember I interviewed a colleague of yours last year, and they talked about a new AI development center that's being set up. Where are you at with that? And tell us about your journey in moving up the value chain.
Sure. And I think technology, that's our and technology is is in our core. And in the last 2-3 years, we see the trend in AI and generative AI, and we really, first thing we have to innovate ourselves. So bringing AI into our daily works, from cross function, from back office jobs, and then we building up our products and offering to our customers. Recently, we built up a platform that may help our engineers to generate codes, programming, and it's our own homegrown products, and it helped to improve at least 30% of engineering coding productivity for our engineers. That's a one of example. And besides, in any areas that we work with customers, you can name it, in the automotive industry or in healthcare industry. So there are many areas that we can help to improve the productivity based on the latest technology and generative AI open platform. And we also been partnering with hyperscalers like Microsoft, with AWS, and also building up, and that help us to be aligned with the trend and of technology.
Now, looking ahead now in 2024, what are your key? This is the second half of 2024 now. What are the goals for the rest of the year and also for 2025?
Well, it took us 10 years to grow from $100 million company to $1 billion company. And when we hit last year, when we achieved our first $1 billion, so we sit down together at management level to define what is the roadmap and what is the target for the next 5-10 years. And we set $5 billion target for 2030. That means we need to keep the growth pace at around 20-25% continuously from in the next 6-7 years. And we see the opportunity essentially in with the new trend of technology, like as mentioned, automotive is not only about the electric car, but software-defined vehicle and AI. Those are two areas we see can help us to boost our growth significantly, and can remove the barrier of the productivity. Because in the past, if you stick with everything with the stock augmentation model, you cannot grow forever your productivity and grow forever your resources.
Yes, because you have a finite amount of resources, your margins are also constrained.
Yes, exactly. And because Vietnam economy is growing so fast and inflation is high, then we need to find a way to move out of the stock augmentation model. And we see the opportunity with the new technologies where we can apply the AI into our jobs, apply new technology into our development, and there will be new framework for software development as well. We believe so. And for the next year, and last year we achieved for $1 billion, and 2024 at the moment we have just reviewed our first half performance. We grew at 24%, and very likely that we can achieve 1.26, 1,260 million this year. And we are keeping the pace and the roadmap that gonna achieve 5 billion in the next 7 years.
So who are you? And these are amazing numbers of growth. But who are some of the really big customers that you work with, not only in ASEAN but globally?
So our biggest customer right now is not from Japan, but from US. And in the past, our project size is around is less than 1 million. But today, today we have customers generating 100 million US dollars per annum, and there's not only one. We plan to have 2 and then 5 in next 2-3 years. It's gonna be probably 2 this year. So last year we have just one customer with more than 100 million US dollars per annum, and we see the trend, global trend of vendor consolidation. And with our scales and size, and with our growing, workforce and competencies, we see we can be in the group of tier 1 software vendors, and the size of project and contract will be, double or multiple times in the near future.
Now, Hoan, from what you've explained to us, ASEAN is really a smaller region for you compared to your other markets. Where is 10%. The growth coming from? Yeah, so where is that growth primarily from? Do you see a bigger growth factor in ASEAN moving forward?
I forgot to mention about one another trend. It's about the geopolitical situation today in the world. So we see that there's opportunity for FPT Software, but also for Vietnam, to compete with Chinese companies, with Eastern European software vendors, essentially Russia, because there's a political risk, and we have opportunity to replace those vendors, and that's one of very important engine for our growth in the next 3-5 years. And for instance, in this year, we would name it I would this our code name. So CNEX means it's about geopolitical benefit for FPT business. So we see that the opportunities, the volume you can expect few hundreds million to billion US dollars business, because from manufacturing, they're moving out of China. From software engineering, they're also moving out of Eastern Europe to a more safe land, and Vietnam is there to offer. And FPT, as a major player in the market in Vietnam, we can help our customers to I would say to mitigate the risk.
Now, Hoan, one of the things which you alluded to but didn't elaborate on just now is the fact that obviously, as we discussed, Vietnam is because of geopolitics, the new +1 strategy. Vietnam benefits from that. Okay, that's one thing. However, the downside of that is, as you said earlier, inflation is higher in Vietnam. It's harder to get talent. How are you going to remain cost competitive relative to some of your competitors, and whether it's Eastern Europe, that's for a thing, whether it's from India in particular as well, and of course your competitors from China?
Oh, thank you for the very good questions, because it's open to the new, to another point that I'm coming to. One good thing about FPT, that we from very beginning we see the risk of FPT software engineering getting more and more expensive. That's why for more than 10 years ago, we already founded FPT University here in Vietnam. So basically, that can help us to somehow to mitigate the human resource risk. And secondly, we in Vietnam, as a developing countries, we are growing not very much, balanced. there's still, there's a very high growth in big cities like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh. And today we building up our network and our campuses, not only we founded in Hanoi, and then we have a second headquarter in Ho Chi Minh. But today we spreading out to tier 1 and tier 2 cities, and there's a cities in Vietnam like Hai Phong, like Da Nang, like Quy Nhơn, like Cần Thơ. So and in each of location today, in some of location we have already a pool of 1,000 engineers, and with that I think we can serve for the future of at least in next 3-5 years. And besides, we will need AI to improve our productivity as well.
Now, Hoan, it's been a fascinating conversation. Thank you very much for taking your time to be on the show. But before we leave, any final thoughts you'd like to leave the audience with?
So I think this timing is very good for Asia and also essentially for Vietnam to catch up with economies like Japan and Korea in the next, and the gap is only about 5 to 7 years. And with recent development, we strongly believe that Vietnam can be a destination for investment and also a recipe for growth and also for business continuity for our partners. And FPT here is to facilitate that.
Thanks again, Hoan, for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you.
We've been speaking to Hoan Nguyen. He's the Senior Executive Vice President, COO, and CFO of FPT Software. I'm Brian Fernandez, and you've been watching and listening to Biztech's C-Suite Conversation Show. This interview will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and websites. Thanks a lot for tuning in.